we go again. Saturday. They say that poker is a game of skill, patience, timing. But sometimes it's just timing. I'm just coming off folding ace queen to a likely set, or maybe a rivered straight. I'm not positive either way, but I don't feel bad about the fold, although losing chips doesn't really feel good. Then I settle into this next one. Tom is under the gun. Now, if you don't know Tom, he's a kind of gentleman who's been limping into pots longer than most of you have been alive. Here, he slides a single chip into the pot. For me, I'm in the cutoff with King 5 of spades. Not exactly a hand you'd write home about, but when I've got position, a suit, and a dream, I might raise it up to $40. Tom? He calls, without hesitation. Then he pulls his signature move, the dark check. The flop comes 5 of hearts, deuce of spades, queen of spades. So I've got a piece of it. Quite a piece, actually. Second pair, and a front door flush draw, plus some hope. So I toss out a C-bet, $30. And wouldn't you know it, he calls. Then dark checks again, as if he already knows that the turn is going to... Well, the turn is the queen of clubs. The board pairs, and now things get a bit more dicey. I decide to check this card back. Tom calling on the flop and holding a queen is definitely a possibility, and now all my flush outs might not be clean. Then the river 10 of spades falls, and just like that, my flush arrives. Beautiful. And for the first time, Tom leads. $80. It's not a huge bet, but it's a bet that says, I have a decent hand and I want some value for it. Well, I raise him to $200. Because I've got to stand up for the good hands when they finally show up, and I can definitely get called by worse, specifically trip queens and all the smaller flushes. He thinks, and then calls. I show him my flush. He shows me his nut flush holding ace 8 of spades. Oh, I see that this is going to be one of those sessions. In the very next hand, I fold Jack 10 offsuit from the hijack with an open in front of me, and then fold some other garbage the hand following. And now, under the gun, I'm presented with... Jesus Christ. What did I do to deserve all this bad karma? Oh, wait. Right out of college me was kinda wild. And I guess here is where I have to pay for it. With no real 3-bet happy threats behind me, I open to $30 under the gun and get 2 callers. The hijack and the cutoff. Alright, let's get this over with. 987 rainbow. Are you shocked? You shouldn't be. I check, as does the hijack, and the cutoff continues for $50. This hand is just going to have to continue without me because I'm done. No floating, just done. Needless to say, this session isn't starting the best. I gotta turn this around. I need some kind of jolt to the system. I need some kind of pick-me-up.
A pick-me-up? Are you talking about booger sugar?
No, not like that. I just need a good hint. Well, ask and you shall receive. Under the gun here is open at $30, and I don't want to lose him, even though I'm holding the nuts. I flat on the button with 3-5 suited. This lets the big blind get in there too. 2 birds, 1 stone, and all of that. The flop comes because, duh, and the big blind wisely checks. The under the gun opener either doesn't see the flop or thinks he's better than the rest of us because he continues. And not for his small size as he probably should. He continues for $80. I'm thinking now that this screams either big overpair or flush draw. A raise here by me will most likely lose the big blind, and I don't want to do that if I can help it, so I call. The big blind folds anyway. Heads up, and I'm hoping to just keep this run out clean. The turn deuce of hearts? It's pretty clean. The under the gun player's aggression now goes to instant off. He snap checks before the dealer has even finished their motion. Okay, so he doesn't have a big overpair then. That's unfortunate. I slide $100 into the pot and there's a long tank before the under the gun player responds with a call. The river 4 spades is a disappointment and is followed by another snap check from my villain. He has nothing. A couple of overcards most likely. My only hope here is that he has a pair and a hero call streak and thinks I missed clubs. I move all in with my trips that have now turned into an unwanted straight, but he folds before I even cross the action line.
Children, I have a story for you.
Should we go down there to hear this Queen's thing again?
Hell no. We are entertaining these fine ladies tonight, my man. Here you are, my dears. Let's make you a bit more comfortable.
I got the energy to win. On your mark set, let the games begin. Tell the competition that we going in. Here to separate the boys from the men. Plan on winning our stop, yeah, that's the goal. Second place in the watch and we want the gold. When it's all said and done, winning our foes. We gon' have the best story that's ever told. Let's get the show on the road. Started from the bottom and we came up. Got it out the mud, got our weight up. Never let a hard time phase us. And now it's time to show 'em what we made of. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. From the bottom and now we are the winners. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. History's in the hand of the victory's in my palm. Wanted so much I could taste it on my tongue. Show the fans that they favorites on the run. Show the world I'm the greatest, I'm the one. Story is far from done, I'm striving against all odds. Feel the weight of the world on my arms. I'm not letting up till the world is ours. Till our names getting mentioned with the gods. It's written in the stars.
Things didn't start the best, but for the last little bit, I've been cruising through the session. Nothing too exciting. A couple of hands go my way, a couple don't. Basically the poker equivalent of background noise. But then, I'm in the hijack, and I look down at Queen Jack of Hearts. I decide to raise it up to $30. Action folds to the blinds, and both call. Suddenly, we've got a 3-way pot. The flop comes ace, queen, jack with 2 spades. So I flopped bottom 2 pair, which sounds great until you realize that this is one of those flops where 2 pair is like being the second richest guy in a crypto pyramid scheme, meaning you're still probably broke. Both blinds check it to me. Nice. But it's not a green light. It's more like a yellow one. Proceed? Sure. Just don't floor it. I fire off $50. The small blind calls, but from him, I'm not sweating straights too much here. He's the 3-bet type. If he had king 10 suited, I would have probably seen it in the pre-flop fireworks. And he's not calling with king 10 offsuit from the small blind pre-flop. The big blind folds, so we're heads up, headed to the turn. The turn is the 9 of diamonds, and the small blind checks again, and this is where I get all indecisive. I could bet. I probably should bet. Apply pressure, protect my hand, but instead, I just mash the check button like I'm in a rush to get to the river. And the river brings the 5 of spades. Just like that, the front door flush gets there. And to make things worse, the small blind now leads for $180. Not a small bet, not a casual, I might have it. This is the kind of sizing that says, I have a real hand. Do you? Now I'm thinking. I still doubt he has a straight, but I lose to literally every other 2 pair. And flushes. Would he really try to rep a flush here? Maybe. But would he go this big when I could easily have it? I pause, I think, and then I call anyway. Because who needs logic when you have curiosity and a stack to torch? He rolls over the king high flush, and my soul quietly slips into the muck alongside my hand. So running bad and not playing my A game isn't a good combination. Let's hope I can put a stop to it and not only think logically through actions, but then follow through with those thoughts in this next one as I look down at pocket kings. From the under the gun 1 spot, Tom limps. Action folds to me in the cutoff, and I very purposely raise huge, as I know this will look strange and like I'm just trying to attack the blinds and a limper. In other words, my $70 raise was no accident. The blinds fold, and as expected, Tom comes along, then checks dark. 7-5-3 with 2 diamonds. There's absolutely nothing to worry about here. Maybe him having pocket 7s, but that's it, and that's not enough to slow me down. With action on me, I continue for $80 and get snap check raised to $220. If he has a set, he's going to get paid, and he probably deserves it. But at best, I think he might have a smaller overpair, like maybe 9s, or he has a draw. I call the check raise. There is no dark check this time, and the 10 of hearts appears on the turn. Our villain continues, $420 now. Him turning a set, yeah, it's possible, but what am I supposed to do? Worry about every 2 outer available and fold kings? I think not. I call again. When I do, he checks dark once more.
Check dark.
I'm pretty sure I just need to fade a diamond. The river queen of spades is great in this respect. With the dark check in play, the pot bloated beyond belief, and action on me, I move all in.
Mullen. Or
Hoping to be hero called by something like ace-x of diamonds with a pair, or pocket 9s that think I'm full of it, but he folds pretty quickly. So 3-5 suited did its thing. Kings did their thing. But what about this king-queen offsuit? From under the gun 1, I open to $30 and only get action from the big blind. Heads up. King 8-5 with 2 diamonds. Well, it looks like king-queen offsuit is doing its thing too. Finally, things are turning for the better. The big blind checks. I fire $40 not because I'm dying to build a pot, but because I want to charge those King X hands and maybe, just maybe, dissuade draws from floating. Because versus a big blind calling range, he can have a ton of draws here. He calls fairly quickly. The turn is the 6 of hearts and he checks again. He's got 8-6, he's got 6-5, he's got some pair plus draw shenanigans in his range. I do have a diamond in my hand, so I go into control mode and check this back. The River Queen is great. Not only is that card not a diamond, so the front door flush missed, but it's also given me 2 pair, so I've leapfrogged his 8-6s and 6-5s. I'm feeling good. And now the big blind leads for $230. Now, my brain does that thing. You know, where you run through all the horror movie outcomes. Yeah, sure, he could have slow played a set. But on King 8-5 with 2 diamonds? That's not usually how those monsters operate. He could be repping a missed draw, turning 6-7 or some random diamond hand into a bluff and trying to blow me off ace-king or worse. And let's be real, I'm folding a lot of hands to that size here. But top 2 pair? In this line? That's a hand you call with, confidently. So I call, and he turns over 7 of diamonds, 4 of spades. Straight. Well, okay then. I didn't see that one coming. Some time passes, enough that I've put the 7-4 debacle behind me, and this hand begins with 2 players limping in as I look down at ace-queen offsuit on the button. Staying positive, I raise to $70. The small blind, an older lady who probably hasn't cold called a raise since the Carter administration, does just that. In my head, alarm bells are now sounding. Now the big blind wakes up and makes it $350 to go. Oh my God. Why won't they just let me win? Both limpers fold, and my choice becomes very obvious. I fold behind them. The small blind moves all in for about $800, and the big blind isn't happy, but calls. They decide to run it twice.
Started from the bottom and we came up. Got it out the mud, got our weight up. Never let our hard time phase us. And now it's time to show 'em what we made up. From the bottom and now we are the winners. It's the reason the hand of the victors. From the bottom and now we are the winners. Started from the bottom and we came
Yes, jiggities. Let's go.
way up. Never let a hard time phase us. And now it's time to show 'em what we made up. From the bottom and now we are the winners. It's the reason the hand of the victors.
Then what happened?
For the next little bit, I folded mostly. And then I made a score.
Did you have pocket aces or kings?
With rags. I had nothing. But he raised, and I just decided, you know, I don't care about the money. I'm going to outplay this guy. I'm going to outplay this guy this hand. I hesitate for like 2 seconds, and then I re-raised.
Re-raised? You played right back at him, huh?
He calls.
I'm surprised that he didn't come right back over the top of you and try to bully you like you're some tourist.
Ace 5-3 rainbow. He checks. I continue for $70. He calls. Deuce of spades. He checks. And I check this back to build the drama. 6 of spades. He checks again, and I fire $320 into the pot. He makes a move toward his checks, and he looks at me. And then he looks at his cards, and he looks at me again, and then he mucks. So you see, I've sat with the 12,452nd best player in the world, and I won.
You put a friggin' move on a random euro. You son of a...
About an hour later, by the time we get to this next hand, I'm cursing poker and the poker gods. I could be at home playing PS5 or cleaning my car or any number of things right now. Tom opens the button to $30 and I look down at pocket eights. I make the easy decision to call, although I know nothing will come of this. Ace 8-7 with 2 spades. Oh, middle set. This is how it ends today, I guess. This is where I die? I check to Tom and he continues for $50. With a hand as strong as mine, on a board as wet as this, coupled with an ace, of which our villain can have plenty of, I find the check raise. He folds, and I get to take a second to stop the internal whining and put one in the W column. Another hour or so has passed, and I'm starting to realize that this session isn't really going horribly. It's just being live poker. This is just how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. Here the button opens to $30, and looking down at Ace King of Clubs, I raise to $150, and I don't get snap called, but I do get called. Queen of Clubs, 4 of Spades, 8 of Hearts. I continue for about half pot, knowing that this flop is sort of middling. I'd still feel confident with a lot of hands, like aces, kings, ace-queen, top set. And our villain would feel okay continuing with large portions of his range, like top pair, jack-10 suited, 10-9 suited, 5-6 suited, jacks, 10s, etc. He calls the $150. The turn gets interesting as it pairs the 8 and hands me a backdoor flush draw. I check this card. I don't want to bet here and have him decide that he just wants to go for it holding an 8 or a weaker flush draw. I'd be in the world of hurt at that point. He doesn't bet though, and so we're off to the river. 5 of clubs. Holding the nut flush feels pretty safe here. I doubt that there are many full houses or quads in his hand that I haven't heard from yet. So I make it $250 and the button ponders this. Then folds. Okay, I'll take it. One day I'll learn. I swear, one day. Just trust the logic, Jaman. Want to see what I'm talking about? The low jack opens here to $30 and I defend with king 5 of diamonds. Fine, whatever. Standard. The flop comes ace king jack rainbow. I check my middle pair, and the low jack continues for $20. Interesting size on this board, but whatever. I call. The turn pairs the king, giving me trips. I check, and the low jack bets again. Pot. He bets pot, and I call. Okay, let's stop here. If you're the low jack, what's the weakest hand you think the big blind would be calling a pot-sized bet here in this line? Ace 10, ace queen, a weak king maybe, something like that. I mean, he doesn't think I'm calling pot with less than that, right? So in other words, as we head to the river, my range of hands now is pretty small. Okay, let's continue. The river is the queen of hearts. I check again, and now the low jack keeps betting. $200 this time. So my potential ace 10 just made a straight, my ace queen made 2 pair, and my kings are still trips, and he's still betting $200. My actual hand of trip kings should fold here because he's not betting anything worse. There are no missed draws to bluff, and he's not betting ace jack or ace queen like this. He's not a psychopath. So what do? My dumbass calls anyway and loses to queen 10 offsuit. One of these days I'll learn. I swear to God. I know that this session is coming to an end soon, but not before I look down at pocket jacks in the cutoff.
I see them. There they are. Yes.
The hijack has opened to $30, and I raise to $100. The button and blinds fold, and when action returns to the hijack, he pauses and then 4-bets to $330. There's really not that much I can do here with jacks but call, so I do. It can never just be easy with jacks, can it? King 9-8 rainbow. Not exactly the flop I was looking for. There's some tanking, and then the hijack continues for $250. 4-bet ranges are pretty tight in this game. Sure, I could try to catch him getting out of line with ace-5 suited or ace-queen sometimes, but his continuing size dissuades me from that. And even if he is getting out of line, it might be with something like queens, which I can't beat anyway. I cut my losses here and just fold. This has been just one of those sessions. About 15 minutes later, I color up my remaining chips and I head for the exit, as it's time for me to leave anyway.
Frustrating. Some sessions are just frustrating, and that was one of them. I'll start by saying this. I ended up down that much, so not like the end of the world, but the way it was happening, man, just frustrating. And you didn't even see, because my phone died towards the end, where I flopped a straight and lost to a turn flush, but that's just how it is. That's just how some days are gonna be. But it's so early. World Series is just starting. We're actually gonna walk over to the horseshoe, check out, see what's going on. But you probably won't see that. So until the next time you see me, like this vlog, if you like it. If you don't bother. Leave me a comment. I will probably respond, and I will catch you next time. Hopefully I'll win next time.
So when right go wrong, just say a little prayer, get your money, man. Life goes on. That's all.